suicidal. To me, your love is suicidal. To me, your love is suicidal. To me, your love is suicidal. Sipping on this Tennessee. Once you were my friend, now you turn into my enemy. Here we go again. I think love is just like money, how it blows in the wind. Got me taking Suicidal. Your love is suicidal. Man, that the princess's love is suicidal. Literally. I finished Avatar, The Last Airbender, season 1 last night, and it's good. I can see what the hype is about. It's very good. I'm hooked. Um, so that was episode 19 and 20 to finish off season 1, and they were in the North Pole. They were in the Waterbending Temple, and the Fire Nation finally attacked. And the princess of the the princess of the Waterbenders, she had to give herself up to save everyone, to keep the balance, because the Fire Nation stole the moon, and she committed suicide to get the moon back. Apparently, the moon was in the form of a fish, and when you kill the fish, you kill the moon. So the Fire Nation killed the fish. So she, I don't really even know how to explain it. She killed herself so the fish could come back to life. Suicidal. Your love is suicidal. So Sokka, sad because he loved her. She liked him. And she kissed him and faded away. And Sokka ain't that special. I've kissed some girls and they faded away too. So you're not very special, Sokka. I remember this one girl. I'm trying to decide if I want to tell this story or not. Yeah, I'll tell it a little bit. So this one girl, freshman year of college, she hit me up. Apparently, she wanted to kind of talk or whatever, and so we did. And then she kind of ghosted me. I'm not too salty about it or nothing. And I know saying that, it kind of makes me seem like I'm salty, but I'm for real not. And so, I mean, she was cool. I didn't love her or nothing like that. But, so yeah, she ghosted me and then ended up transferring. Never said goodbye or nothing, right? So it's whatever. Turns out the only reason she talked to me, I heard this, it was kind of like a rumor, I guess, that got back to me. But the only reason why she was talking to me in the first place is because her and her best friend, they kind of got into an argument or whatever. And her best friend liked me. So I guess to get back at her best friend, she started talking to me, which all's fair in love and war. That's what they say. Even though it wasn't love, it's still fair. That's what I say. And so she ended up transferring, and I guess she took it harder than me because a couple weeks ago, probably like 2 weeks ago, she hit me up and she apologized for what she did. I don't know where she thought it was going to lead because I'm not about that. But she hit me up and just basically said she was an asshole at the time. So maybe that was just for her own closure or whatever. But so I forgave her. Well, I didn't even have to forgive her because I didn't. I was never mad at her, for real. So yes, so the Ice Princess or the Water Princess, she gives herself up so the moon can come back and restore everything. And the reason why the moon is so important, apparently the moon was the first waterbender, which when I first heard that, I was like, what are you talking about? The moon is a waterbender. But then when they explained it, it made perfect sense. If you didn't know that the moon controls the tides, because the gravitational force, I guess, it pulls the water higher at certain points, and then at low tide, I guess the gravitational force isn't as strong. So that's what high and low tides are from. So the moon actually moves water. So it is a waterbender. And that is genius, for real. That is well thought out. I would probably never would have thought about that. So that was cool that they put that in there. Um, so the Fire Nation attacks, and Aang he he fights one ship, the first ship, and he beats it. And you're thinking, oh, that was kind of difficult, but he did it. That's awesome. Turns out they sent about 100 more ships, and Aang comes back, and he's like, "There's no way I could beat him." And then he thinks, "Let me just go in the spirit world and ask the spirits if they could help me." And if I had that ability, if I could go to the spirit world, that would be the first thing I do in any situation. If there's a problem, any problem, the first thing I do is think, I'm gonna go to the spirit world to see if they could help. You know, oh, I'm running low on peanut butter. Let me go to the spirit world, see if they have any. You know? So I'm glad he thought of it, but that should have been the first thing he thought of. So he goes to the spirit world. He meets this monkey. The monkey's trying to meditate. And then he goes to this one like centipede looking thing. And apparently, if you make a face at the centipede, any expression, he steals your face, your whole face. He steals it just right off your body. So you have to be like this the whole time you're talking to him. Just like that, no expression. If you smile, your shit's gone. And I know for a fact, if I was in that situation, my face would be gone. Because if you can't laugh at something, it makes it 100 times funnier. It's just the truth. So if I went in there and I saw him, I would start dying laughing, and my face would be gone. But nope, Aang, he keeps a stone face, and he gets what he wants. I kind of forget what information he got, but apparently it helped because he ended up winning. So then he goes back, and Zoku, he kidnapped Aang while he was in the spirit world. Because when you're in the spirit world, your actual body is it's kind of disabled. You know, so he was easily able to steal Aang. But then Aang comes back to the real world, escapes, and then they go back and they fight the Fire Nation some more, and they win. So that was a good first season. You know, just when you thought that they couldn't win, Aang turns into this one. I don't even know how to explain it. I don't know how to explain it. This one big monster, I guess, is the best way to explain it, and that's not even a good explanation. So I apologize for that. I can't think of anything to explain it. And he ends up beating them all. So that was really cool. So yeah, that was book 1. Apparently, about halfway through watching these avatars, I realized that they were originally books and then they were made into the TV show. And I can guarantee 1,000. I was gonna say 100, but then I switched it to 1,000 because I know for a fact 1,000% I will never read those books ever. Reading's just not my thing. Um, I don't know what it is, but I hate reading. Even if it's a children's book, I'm not gonna read it. Reading might be my least favorite thing in this whole world. That's just so I will never ever read those books, especially if there's a TV show. Never ever reading it. So the first book was the first season, I guess, and that was focused on water. And I would say for the most part, yeah, the first book was mainly water because they were going to the North Pole to find the waterbender. And I'm not sure how they do it. I'm not sure what the name of the second book is called or the second season because there's only 3 seasons and there's 4 elements. So they can't really do water, earth, air, fire. I guess I just thought of this. The reason why there's only 3 is because Aang already mastered air, so he doesn't really need to master the air one. So I'm guessing fire is gonna be the last season. So we got water, earth, then fire. That's my guess how the books go, but I'm not 100% sure. And Katara, she's really good at waterbending. You know, the master, the waterbending master, was actually surprised because she was a girl, and girls can only heal, which that's my other problem. If girls could heal, why couldn't they heal the fish that was dead? It seemed kind of dramatic that the princess had to commit suicide. Suicidal. The princess had to commit suicide to save the fish when they could have just rubbed their hands together, put it on the fish, and probably saved it. But I'm not the writer, so that's what they did. And so yeah, Katara is very good at waterbending. So I guess Aang's gonna learn from Katara now how to waterbend. So that's kind of cool. And their squad just got a lot stronger because Aang was already powerful. Now Katara is powerful too, and so I feel bad for anyone that goes against them because they got 2 powerful element benders, and then Zoku or Zaka. God, I always fuck up his name. Zaka. No, not Zaka. What the fuck am I talking about? It goes Katara. It goes Aang. It goes Sokka. God, why the I can't. I'm very bad with names. So, Sokka, he doesn't really have a power, but he tries his best. Sometimes that's all you can ask for. So, yep. So I cannot wait for season 2. I'm gonna watch it tonight, the first 2 episodes, and we'll see. We'll see what it's about, cause I have no idea. And I was DMing this one person on Instagram, and apparently there is kind of like a spin-off for the Avatar. So after the Avatar, apparently another Avatar comes back, and I forget. I think it's a girl. I think the person said that it was a girl, and I don't know her name, but the person I was talking to said that that show is way different than Avatar: The Last Airbender. So I might have to watch that. That was the one thing I was worried about, is I was worried that they might run out of ideas of what to do with Aang and his crew. So I'm kind of interested to see how they do the spinoff. Usually spinoffs aren't as good, but the person that I was talking to said the spinoff is good. So, but that's not on Netflix, so I might have to get creative on how I watch it. So, all right. Well, that there goes episode 9 of the Avatar: The Last Airbender podcast. And I didn't want to tell any stories today because I wanted to focus solely on um, the story of what happened and how they summed it up. So, I just got off of work. I filmed the TikTok video, and then I decided to hop back on because I actually forgot to add something in whatever I shot this morning. And I thought about this at work. I was meaning to add it, but I just forgot. So that's how you know. That's how you know that I take this seriously. Because if I didn't, I would have been like, oh, I just forgot it. I'll say it the next video, or just not even say it at all. But this is important to me. So I decided to do this. And it's going to take a little more effort to edit in this clip, and I set everything up again. And so what I'm about to say, I feel is important. You might think it's not important. I think it is. But what I wanted to point out is I noticed, all right, so the Fire Nation is going around trying to conquer all other nations, right? And that kind of reminds me of the Khan, that Khan guy who's taken over the Europe, and I don't even know where he was taking over, honestly. I'm terrible with geography, but I know that there's this one kingdom who basically conquered all of Asia. Yeah, I believe it was Asia. And that's what the Fire Nation is doing right now, right? And a lot of people think, oh, conquering, taking land is a thing of the past. Like, we're not going to go and go to war with Canada to take their land. We would have done it like a couple thousand years ago or whatever, but we're not going to do that now. So people think that's a thing of the past. But this is what I came to realize. Watching this show, I realized that we may not be taking land, but because of capitalism, we're taking market share. That's what we fight over now. Market share. And it may not be land. We don't go to war to get market share, but we do other things to get market share, and some things are illegal. So I think that's a crazy connection. I never thought of it like that before. That we fight over market share now. And whoever controls all the market share is the most powerful. You see that with Amazon right now. Jeff Bezos is about to make $1 trillion. We're going to have our first trillionaire. That's crazy. Nobody needs that much money. Nobody. Except for me. I'm just kidding. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're fighting over market share now. Companies are the new kingdoms. It's crazy. And another thing I think about, this is totally unrelated, but in the past, when you would think about the future, everyone was like, oh, it's going to be in the sky. Skyscrapers, and we're going to have flying cars and trains that just are in the sky. But, now that we're in the future, some people are like, see, that's just unrealistic. We're not in the sky. But the cloud, the iCloud is in the sky. We moved. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. It just blows my mind. I just had to hop on here, and because I was just been thinking about it. So it's just crazy. So, all right, that's all I wanted to. That's all I wanted to add.